In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, praise be to God, the cherisher and the sustainer of the world, most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee alone do we worship, and thy aid we seek. Guide us on the right path, the path of those who have not incurred thy displeasure, those whose portion is not wrath, and those who do not go astray. Amen. 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 This songwriter, I said, everything has its time. So if you are hearing this message today, then it is the gospel is the 10 commandments. The gospel is the 10 commandments, and then what? Your offering and sacrifices. And then when you put the daily work first, every other thing will be normal. Because we have come in a we have advanced in a way that nobody can satisfy the desire of the other. Even marital couples cannot satisfy the desires of both couples. So that is why sometimes we put the daily work first. After prayer, we put the daily work first, so that at the end of the day, there will be that sanity. Because when the landlord comes and say he needs the rent, he needs the rent. When the circumstances come and then you have to pay when they say the school fees, then so all these things are but then if you respect the covenant very well, and then you unite your bond in that atmosphere of trust, amazing, the keys of heaven, the doors of heaven will open the favor, and everything will be nice in the family. So it's very essential that we know the keys of the gospel, so that we can come out of the bloody covenant. You cannot clean a system by eliminating people. That is the revolution upon revolution upon revolution. It is just that 2 minutes valuable advice. It is just that 1 minute valuable advice. It is just that 10 minutes valuable advice to just change the perspective of the people, and then putting them on the right path. So that is what the Holy Quran says. It said, direct us on the right path. So the crucifixion and the cases and the haram, all this movement must all be refreshed under the 10 commandments. They are all under the bloody covenant. And everybody think they have to kill to inherit with force. They have to kill to so it is leading us wayward. To me, it is leading us wayward. To me and under my security research, it is leading us wayward. So it has come to a time. For instance, everything that you do and it become a stock. And then they will monitor, and then they will carry it out. Is it a security? It's not a security, it's a crime. So it has come to a point where we have to investigate and know where they are taking those resources, so that we will direct affairs to go and bring it to their destination. There's nothing to be afraid, because God is greater than the superpower as they claim to be. God is powerful than any other thing, because the one who is saying he is arresting is not communicating to the office. So it's upon jungle. Anyone is just looking to somebody to feed on. But how can we live like that when God has provided it? Is sufficient. It's so sufficient for us to be on the right path and respect ourselves with economy basic. So if the person arrests and he doesn't communicate to the owner, and then they go to feed, then where is the essence? So it's so it is time for us, when they move and then they hack and then they go to it, it is time to trace the daily transactions, and then we'll put the bill there for them to come and pay. There's nothing to be afraid. So that we can live in normal. When they go and they put down the flames, we wait. God is patient. God has patience. And then we forward it again, therefore, till one day they will go and they find out that evidence, or the law court will say they should pay this within these days. So God is patient. So they are hacking and for that length. So you go in there, it is the hunter and its group. So when you go and you think you are talking to the person willing for the people to help, it's linking to the same tree and the same branch. So at the end of the day, you don't get results. So it is time for us to sit down and then um, uh, mobilize things well, so that we can direct. When they win, in my case, that length, they will take it to other people. So since there is no communication, and you go and then they have hacked out, they have hacked out, then it's time for us to trace to the source. Nobody must be afraid. They might claim to be superpower. They might claim to be wow, but God is greater than all those things. So it's about good principles, and they knowing the consequences of what they are doing, so that we can direct affairs on the normal track. And there's no need to be afraid. Even if they show one of the greatest weapon, the superpower, God is superpower. When God speaks, that weapon will. God, He says, God, at the end and on the final day, God can give speech to everything. So when God tells us the weapon not to fire, the person will try and try and try, and the weapon will not fire. So you see, God has given. We have. So it is time to be mature in the gospel. So that we don't just be afraid of basic warning, because God works ahead of us. So that we can direct things on the right path. And we are saying, let us not go there. What is going on is horrible. Now, if they go to tell the story. When they go to tell the story, it will make you a wicked person. But if you go down to what they are doing underground, then you see that they are the most wicked group. How can you go and make a law on somebody's wealth to use the 100% to your desires and neglect the person? You came to somebody to work. At that time, the person even feeding his children was a problem. So what do you hear? So certain jobs are for education. Certain positions are for education. Sometimes you may not end because it is not there. So you pray and you continue to work. So the story is deviating the people and the world. So every time I tell them, every day, this I am working. When the library was there, I go to sit 2 hours and I work. Every day I have to make sure I do something. And it is work. So as I am working, and somebody is sitting by the roadside weaving the story to go and pick what the person has. So it is time to come out of the covenant of the blood and weaving the story, because I see it as those stories, they are weaving the story for excuse to commit crime. Because they are selling human meat, they are selling human organs, they are selling. We have heard a whole lot of. So it's always they are always weaving for the excuse of crime. So it is time to respect ourselves with economic basic, so that we will be on the right path. So the gospel is your 10 commandments and your sacrifice, your offering Uh-huh. And there are so many forms of it, provided you do it with a good mind and with a good heart. Uh-huh. Uh, so when you see the people cursing and raising flame, then they are inviting spiritual forces for attack. So when you see, you just have to pray, and then maybe if you can advise, you say one or two words, so that you move away and carry on with your daily lifestyle. So cases are all the stories are all excuse to commit crime, because today we cannot. It's not. They are all excuses to commit crime. So that is how we can put it, because the story against Jesus, crucify Jesus, right? So, and it is a crime for the crucifixion act. It's a crime. Do you think those people will live in the zone? After 2 years, they will run away to hide their lineage. So any act of killing, because God Himself has said, "Thou shalt not kill." So the story they weave are the excuse to commit crime. So it is time to be aware so that it doesn't take wayward. Look at the war, and when they preach and they preach on war and war, what do you think they are doing? They invest. When they come with a prophecy, and today we see the women in the mirror, that means the women should take position in the house and then sit on their husband's shoulders. Then they'll come and give the prophecy indirectly. And they are migrating and migrating and migrating. So it is time to be normal with ourselves. So the weaving of story is becoming what? Excuse to commit crime. The last time I was going to the police headquarters in Ghana, I went to see a friend. I went to just see a friend. And the friend told me, oh, this time they have advanced in technology, in cybercrime. So I should go and meet one officer. So I went. And then he told me to go and then write a report. The day that I was bringing a report, they intentionally went and arrested a minister. And the minister support came over there with the aim that one of them will push me down or something. So they are misbehaving, and at the same time they know that they are misbehaving, and they know that this office is very rich, and the fact that they have been behind and sitting on the happiness for that length. So they are always misbehaving in the excuse to commit crime. So when we have to throw it the light, because it's been a global issue, domestic violence. So we have to know the secret of the gospel, which is what? The 10 Commandments. Obedience to God. We say the gospel is for God. We say God. You're going to worship God. So it is the 10 Commandments and your offering. So as we gather around to heal our differences. Everything, when you begin in the name of God, sometimes certain things can be nasty, but then you will regulate it. But before you realize, when you hear in the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, praise be to God, the cherisher and the sustainer of the world, most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment, thee alone do we worship, and thy aid we seek. Guide us on the right path, the path of those who have not incurred thy displeasure, those whose portion is not wrath, and those who do not go astray. Amen. That is the fundamental. Every other thing can just be but know that whatever happens is because the stories are becoming excuse to commit crime. So every group are looking for an excuse to commit crime. So it is time to come out of these, so that we'll put the people to normal work. Now I went to some of the industries going around. Those who actually wants to work are working. But those who wants to make stories for excuse of misconduct are those who are closing their industries. Amazing. Those who actually wants to work are working. But those who are in the excuse of misconduct are the one closing the industries. So the COVID cases will go high because the people do not have the means to feed. If you go and you see from their faces, that these people are in need of aid. So the fact that you coming in with a fear that you bring a disease to them because they can be allergic. And the fact that maybe people will come in can also be excuse that some people will also attack them under the camp. So they also have to protect themselves and give it move back, sit down, keep the mask. Amazing the way it's going. And then you see that everything is academic. Because if they've got the slightest illness, they cannot stand on their feet. They have to either eliminate them from the system because they would think the disease will spread to. So it's a matter of we getting out of the story and everyone making story and everyone. Look at the story of the Holy Prophet Jesus Christ and the story of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, how it has set up the world. Now count September 11 and up each stages up to this stage, more than 20 million people, and bringing it down to COVID, more than 40 million people have died. Even that, more than 50 million have died. All in the name of God and in the name of the gospel, setting the people against themselves. So the fundamental of the gospel is one God, one people, one world, and one nation. So we have to get it and get it right. So that when you know that they are making the story and he did that, he didn't go here, then they are looking for an excuse for misconduct. So it is time so that when we throw the light, then they will be aware because God has seen it. You saw the COVID. The COVID was going to be a war. It was going to be a multi-war. But then, when we understand, we'll be able to advise the various parties to be cautious. So that we can direct the people. It is about the daily work. Because definitely one day I will make a history. But I'm not making my history based on story. I make my history on work. And God is so great that when you follow his commandment, he opens the path of greatness on you. So as they are making the stories, telling the story, wanting the excuse to commit crime, and then you are also moving ahead in that aspect of your focus on God and your work, then every day there is an enviness, and God said, thou shalt not envy. So it is time. Nobody should be ashamed of the past because they didn't get it and they didn't get it. Some also, when you give them, they will close their eyes to misbehave. So it's a whole lot of secular misconduct. But then it's just because the word is in war, and people are trained under the profession on what they want, and people believe in their capacity, the human capacity, that when they put the people together and then frame their mind to. So that is why we have to heal the system, and heal the system in such a way that there will be that basic understanding. So the gospel is the 10th commandment. So when you see them preaching at the churchyard and they're making the pay, those are cases. And then there are cases in the Holy Bible. There are cases in the Holy Quran. So God said, and it has been written boldly, do not follow any other path. They will lead you astray. So follow your commandment. So when you go, when you follow the commandment, any other thing, when you see the pastor going wayward, do you know that the pastor is going wayward? When you see the congregation going wayward, you know that there's so you go, you sit there happily after whatever it is. It is good to know what is going around in the community. Because God works through the people. And then you lay your offering, and then you come home with and then enjoy yourself. If you don't eat well, corona. So people are fighting and people are making stories, and everyone wants their story to take the trend of recognition, because that is what they feed. So today, the story that is reading is the family with children. So when they go to tell their story, then they win. They give them the 8. So when they go and then you do not have the children, then you become the loser. But then before the person can also make that create that family, he must have the stable finance. May God bless us and direct everyone on the right path. The songwriter who says, I see the songwriter that says, everything has its time. But then, in my advice, he said God's time is the best. But God works for us every day. So don't give up and move up every day to do something. Let's see. Bibiara wanimber. Wanimber. Odasani biara ni mo. Bibiara wanimber. Wanimber. Odezipete. Bibiara wanimber. Wanimber. Odasani biara ni mo. Bibiara wanimber. Wanimber. Odezipete. Inti si abutar. Inti si abutar. Inti si abutar. Nyami nimri po. Inti si abutar. Nabutariye. Inti si abutar. Nabutariye. Inti si abutar. Yeah, nyami nimri po. Inti si abutar. Nabutariye. Inti si abutar. Nabutariye. Inti si abutar. Nyami nimri po. Inti si abutar. Nabutariye. Inti si abutar. Nabutariye. Mibe si abutar. Yeah. Nyami nimri po. Inti. He says, everything has its time. Everything has its time. That it is clear in the eyes of men. So be patient. Be patient. Because God's time is the best. And I'm so saying that God waits for us every day. So we have something in the Quran which is the night of power. The night of power. God waits for us every day. So if you are working under the condition, that is what somebody is going to make a story to go and fight because he didn't get something. I am not going to fight anybody because they didn't treat me well. I know that one day God will accrue it in a stock. Because at that time, it wasn't there. And if they have utilized it, somebody must have deviated their mind. But when God penetrates and God makes things clear to them that, hey, this person has brought you billions of dollars and you couldn't even award him a house to go and sleep. That is how God works. Because now, the further they have been deviated, They have alleviated whatever you say. Until the reality gets to the table. That is where they will see how they have wronged. So God, you say, work. So the night of power, it says the night of power is like your payment in that night of power is like 1,000 months. When God comes to reward you, you see your reward is like 1,000 months. You say your reward will be like 1,000 months. So when you are working under somebody, and just have patience. Just take it that you know you and then work. Maybe you know that your work deserves 2,000 and they are giving you 1,000. Continue to work and work and work, because where you are going you don't know. And then even research and improve upon the job till one day that big check will arrive. And you say, who did it? I say, the manager they did it. And then that is where all that you have lost will be accrued for you to get that reward. So it's patience. So patience. When you are with God, it's a patience. But then don't give up. Always do something. Waiting for God and waiting for that special day that all the angels will come down and say, oh, now this reward cannot be contained in this with this person, or this reward belongs to this person. So it is your commandment, your 10 commandments. It's the 10 commandments. And then your offering. So sometimes when I don't have the offering, I decided to stay back, because it is very important that you go with a beautiful offering to the church, and then you come home. It's very then the normal sacrifice. Maybe twice in a year you can do 1 or 2 sacrifice. Normal sacrifice, because and then you refresh your family, and then everything becomes okay. Inti sia butar na butari ye. Inti sia butar na butari ye. Bibe sia butar. Nyame nimre po. Inti sia butar na butari ye. Inti sia butar na butari ye. Inti sia butar. Nyame nimre po. Inti sia butar na butari ye. Inti sia butar na butari ye. Bibe sia butar. Nyame nimre po. Inti. I say God's time is the best. Be patient. Wal asl. Inna linsana lafi husul. Ila lazina amalu wa milu saliha. Watawasa bil haq. Watawasa bil sabr. So this song might have originated from this verse. So you see, words. That is why I'm saying God has sealed the words. So if the person sees and he sees he can make something with it, there's no people should be happy. Because let's say we have artists, and all of a sudden the artist come all of a sudden and he comes to watch the show that somebody is singing his song on a show, and the person is able to sing, and then he's able to sell about over maybe another show is able to sell about 200 CDs, 300 CDs, and maybe people will not be having money, but the following day after the show and they have money, they will go and buy the CDs. So if you are the old knowing that every CD that they play will also give you some little of what will you do the next day? You go and meet the person and discuss how much money he has given you, and then you can endorse. If you can do this every day, then I will endorse for you to go out and play my songs. So we have an artist like Kojo Entry. I went when I was younger. I went to his shows, and Christmas when it comes to Ghana, people actually pay to go and watch. All the leaders of Ghana actually pay to go and watch this singer. Now, he cannot be all over. So now, if he can get people like about 6 people to play in all the corners of the nation, when he's playing for the national leaders and others, he does it every Christmas. Don't you think the people will get, because nobody. So it is time to market the foundation well. When I was young, I went to watch it. Is it Western Diamonds? He was playing with Western Diamonds. I went to watch in Takrady, and it was amazing. The people dance. Hey, could you tree on the floor? Hey. People dance to his music. And I also boogie, do some boogie. So we have artists. So if you are good, you learn and then you market, and at the end of the day, after they have grouped the stock, and you can also make a living. At the end of the day, when you go to the show, and they know that Kojo Entry Allied is coming, and the people know how the band is good. You see, so let's say there are some songs that when the children are playing, if let's say I'm a father and I come home, I'll stop them. Come on, stop playing those songs. So the father will not allow the children to play. It means a market trend has been what? Broken. Now, if the father will allow the children to play in the home, it means the father will play it, and the grandfathers around will also play it. So that is why we should edit our wells so that we can market well. The father will not allow the children to play in the home. Means there's going to be a bridge, or there's going to be a block in market. So what the kind of CDs we buy, the kind of songs, if you're a music editor, then you edit it. Because for the first 1 month, 2 months, all the children will be playing. Then it will get to a time, because the radio will be marketing. After some time, people will have to go and buy the CDs. Let's say the FM will not copy, because they will have to network it to their source so that they can also have some gain. So they will go and buy the CD to go and come and network it to their source. So if the father will not play it, it means that they will not. So even if those who will not go and buy will maybe one day play it out of the blue moon. But if the song is good, the children can play. That is a market trend. If the children can play, and the fathers will even play with the children, that means you're going to have a wide range of sales without anyone interrupting, because the music can be good when it is that, because we have all been youth. But then when you come and say, why should I go and be part of this profane? When it comes, you see that everybody will enjoy. But when you sit back, then it means you have to get out of it and then take that perfect line. So may God bless us and direct everyone on the right path. So as you are going to your gospel yard today, come out of the bloody covenant. Save the people. Direct them on the right path. So that we can, the 10 commandments will be, because if you say pay, and the 10 commandments say thou shalt not kill. So why are you going to make pay at the church? But the fact that they are going into that prophecies of war, and the future will be more harder. The future will be even that. So far as they are going, then they are preparing for that hardship. So we gospel leaders and gospel must not encourage that. So that we can come out of the covenant of the blood. And then with the Ten Commandments, we will see how amazing we will live in peace. We can network the railway system all over Africa and Europe. And everybody goes with the economic basic. At the end of the day, what you work accrue certain privilege. When it comes, when it goes into industry, the person will be the owner, and then the 200 people that will work under will also benefit. You are the owner of it, and there are people who work under the industry. And at the end of the day, the stock that will come, you have to pay them to also go, because they have contributed in giving you that stock. So that is it. So there's nothing to be. The only thing the owner will enjoy, maybe in some angle of privilege. But at the end of the day, it's a stock that must be channeled to the various sectors so that the industry will run. So may God bless us and direct us all on the right path. It is cold, so I don't have my heater here. Maybe I'll buy my heater maybe next week. And so maybe I have to end the video here so that we can begin another time. May God bless us and direct everyone on the right path. Wal asal inna linsana lafi husr ila lazina amalu wa amilu salihah watawasaw bil haq watawasaw bis sabr. Qualsiasi cosa ha il suo tempo. Quindi dici che dobbiamo avere la pazienza in Dio e aspettare il suo tempo. Però non è per dormire, perché Dio lavora per noi ogni giorno. Quando i padroni non possono pagare come tu volevi, tu non devi mollare, tu devi impegnare a dare di più, finché un giorno arriva un grande pacchi. E chi è che ha fatto questo lavoro? Ha detto che ha fatto. Allora, in questo tempo, in Islam ti dicono c'è un tempo che arriva Dio con tutti i suoi angeli. Il tuo pacca in quel giorno sarebbe 1000 mesi. Quindi in Islam hanno tanta pazienza in aspetto a Dio. Cioè arriva un tempo che il tuo paga diventa 1000 volte, come 1000 mesi. Invece se tu è arrivato 1 milione, che tu devi prendere 2000, guarda il paga che è arrivato. Quindi in Islam c'è tanta pazienza e tanti solo che i 10 comandamenti che ha disguidato, perché adesso anche i cristiani stanno lasciando i 10 comandamenti, insegnano, però non continua, è diventato storia. Quindi adesso quando andiamo in chiesa dobbiamo parlare un po' della storia, però la cosa deve diventare Dio e i suoi apostoli. Così possiamo andare avanti e vivere in pace, senza guerra contro musulmani, senza guerra contro africani, senza guerra contro i europei, bianco e nero, insieme lo stesso. Bianco e nero, vai, metti i colori sul corpo 2 giorni e nessuno la vedi più che sia bianco. Quindi dobbiamo avere avere tante pazienza, non dire africani, c'è italiani in Africa, tanti, c'è tanti, C'è tante aziende che appartengono ai italiani, Nigeria, Costa d'Avorio, quindi non dobbiamo seguire la mentalità che sempre vogliono usare le gente contro uno o l'altra. Quindi quello che loro dicono solo per fare confusioni fra uno e l'altra. C'è tanti italiani in Africa, tanti in America c'è tanti italiani, in Australia c'è tanti italiani in Australia. Quindi è un mondo che gira. Se uno vedi che qua non va bene, prendi sua valigia e vedi che c'è una sorella che è lì che fai e vai a aggiungere. Quindi è una cosa, parolacce insieme, si stanno dando il disguido. Rolo, vieni qua, guai, fai in Ghana. E vedi italiani. Se tu lavoro, ogni angolo che tu dai, metti tu a lavoro. Se tu non vai a mischiare con cosa malvagia, nessuno, perché la polizia arriva, tu non hai fatto niente. Quindi qualsiasi angolo, se tu vuoi stare, Eddie, metti lavoro prima. So I was saying that the video almost ended. I was saying that we shouldn't set ourselves against blacks and blacks communities and white communities. Now, those in Africa, the whites in Africa, are working and they are living good. So if you come Europe and you put your work first, you will not have any problem. The problems will come because maybe the community. But when you put your work first, they ask your document you put on the table. They ask you put on the table. After some minutes in your prayer, they will go away. When this revolution came, that independence, that the white decided to come, to me sometimes I see it as a revolution. Maybe some few people, after having made so much gold wealth, wanted to come and enjoy with their wives. Decided to go in a revolution. To set the whole nation apart. Now, those people who put their work and decided not to follow the revolution stayed and even died. They may have died in Ghana. The Nigerians who didn't want to, who focused on their job. So if the community even knows what you are doing, it is the crime aspect and the misconduct aspect that will. So if there's a black community and the black community is misbehaving and it becomes rare that their records is misbehavior, definitely the police will come and arrest the situation. So that's why I say that definitely one day will be one day where maybe you can be held by the police, maybe a day or two. It's normal. But then when you stand on your feet and pray, because people are giving bad, people are making stories for misconduct, possible to commit a crime. So when you go and then you leave that atmosphere, the following day will come and then they will release you to go to your place. It may happen to one because people are giving bad information. So it's not a stain that one day, one night or something. They are all normal because the society is not safe. And then sometimes it will also make you see what is going on, so that maybe God will use your vision to heal the situation. So those people who are living, they are living. When this Nigeria-Ghana news came, there are Ghanaians who stayed in Nigeria. They didn't move. They have lived and they have lived all their lives. So it is about your work and then your prayer. So when the people know that this is your work and this is your prayer, they will be the one to protect you around. So let us not set ourselves against blacks and whites. Against this morning, I was telling this man, he said, and when you people come here and didn't, and I said, he doesn't know. And I told him, there are more Italians in Ghana, there are more Italians in Nigeria, there are more Italians So this is because the people do not know, they are setting them up against. So that's somehow sometimes we have to do one or two education. Put your work first, and then go and stand in a misconduct or a group for demonstration. Now, when the group goes to spoil, attack, and break into something, definitely the police will show up. So I'm giving you one of the security. So whatever you are, your commandment, your sacrifice or your offering, and then your daily work, and then see how God will move in the direction. May God bless us and direct everyone on the right path. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Praise be to God, the cherisher and the sustainer of the world, most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee alone do we worship, and thy aid we seek. Guide us on the right path, the path of those who have not incurred thy displeasure, those whose portion is not right, and those who do not go astray. Amen.